All rise. Today, we gather around the court to come to a decision on Kim Davis's actions towards refusing to sign and distribute marriage licenses to homosexuals in Moorhead, Kentucky. You all may be seated. Sit down, Kim.
I will be representing April Miller in her case against County Clerk Kim Davis for the unlawful refusal to distribute marriage licenses to same-sex couples after the June 26, 2015 Supreme Court ruling that same-sex marriage is legal in all states.
Now, wait a minute. I was following the Lord's law. So are we talking about American law or Christ?
As I was saying, Mrs. Davis was instructed multiple times to sign marriage licenses for same-sex couples and refused, knowing what the consequences would be if she kept this up. My client, April Miller, brings this case to the court in response to Davis's discrimination against LGBT citizens and those seeking marriage licenses. My client and her partner, Karen Roberts, decided to get married 4 days after the verdict in the Obergefell versus Hodges legalized same-sex marriage, but were turned away by Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis. In this time period, two heterosexual couples, Kevin Holloway and Jody Fernandez and Chantel Burke and Stephen Napier, were also denied marriage licenses, as well as same-sex couple Barry Spartman and Aaron Skaggs, all of which are acting as plaintiffs against Rowan County, Kentucky, and Kim Davis in the lawsuit being presented.
William Lear, please come to the stand and give his opening statement.
My client, County Clerk Kim Davis, is probably legally in the wrong, and quite possibly even morally wrong, but she swears that her God wouldn't want her to write her name on these specific pieces of paper, and she offered me a retainer I couldn't turn down. So I'll be representing her in this case. Mrs. Davis believes she is protected by her rights to religious conscience. Therefore, she is permitted by law to deny marriage licenses to couples, even though providing these licenses is her job. Mrs. Davis has decided to ignore the verdict of the Berger versus Hodges and will continue living her life in ignorant bliss, convincing herself gay people don't exist and crocheting at home with her fourth husband and her children conceived and born out of wedlock.
Now we introduce the first witness, plaintiff April Miller. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in the case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
You better hope God helps you, Santa.
Excuse me. Do you realize that I'm the one deciding if you're going to go to jail or not? Moving on. Would plaintiff lawyer Rhea Tobacco Marr like to examine witness April Miller?
Yes, Your Honor, I would. Miss Miller, how long have you been in a committed relationship with Karen Roberts?
We've been together for 11 years.
So you would think that you're just as entitled to a marriage license as any other couple, correct?
Yes, especially after the landmark verdict in the Obergefell versus Hodges case.
How has Kim Davis' actions affected you and your partner's lives?
Kim Davis refusing to distribute marriage licenses to same-sex and heterosexual couples alike has taken away from what should have been a time to celebrate the huge step taken toward total equality for American citizens. Karen and I should have been able to get married on the day we wished, and we should have been able to look back on this time with love and joy rather than disdain at this court case and the other discrimination we faced from Kim Davis in a country where our liberties should be protected at all costs, no matter who we are or in what ways we're different from the general public.
Lastly, do you feel that Kim Davis's actions stood directly in your way of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness?
Yes, I feel that Kim went out of her way and risked her job with the sole purpose of alienating same-sex couples in a time that should feel welcome and loved. She knew that she was preventing us from a right given to us by the American Supreme Court and took no issue with keeping that from us, simply because of who we loved.
Thank you, Miss Miller. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Miller, how long have you been gay?
My whole life.
Is that a question or an answer?
It just seems like an odd question to ask, considering I never decided to be gay, especially in a town like this. It's just who I am.
Okay, so why did you want to get married?
Because marriage is a right that straight couples are given without a second thought, even if they've already been married 4 times.
So you think that everyone should just be given the rights because everybody else has them?
Yes, I say all citizens deserve.
Continue.
Yes, I say all citizens deserve equal rights. Why are you asking like that's a bad thing?
Never mind. No further questions, Your Honor.
Now I call Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis to the witness stand.
Thanks, Judge Man.
God. Please stand and raise your right hand. You promise that the testimony you shall give in the case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I reckon so.
Defense lawyer William Lear, would you like to question the witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Somebody do the hiney lick maneuver on him. The hiney lick.
I'm good, Kim. Be quiet. Mrs. Davis, do you believe you were correct in not putting your name on those papers?
Which papers? The ones with the funny font?
I'm referring to the marriage licenses which we are currently in court for.
Oh, the funny letter ones. Yeah, I figure I was pretty okay in telling them folks what they was trying to do wasn't right. I know my God wouldn't like that. Sometimes he talks to me when I close my eyes real
I think that's actually your employees asking you questions, but all right.
Kim. The copier's jammed. Kim. The copier is jammed.
Mrs. Davis, did you believe the punishment for abiding by the law of the land and signing the licenses would be greater than the punishment the American court system would administer for refusing to follow the orders of the Supreme Court?
Well, of course. Ain't you ever heard of hell?
Sometimes it's hard to defend you. Mrs. Davis, do you plan on continuing to refuse to distribute marriage licenses to same-sex couples if you return to work?
I really haven't thought that far ahead. I just been wondering which shoes I'm going to use as shower shoes when I go down to Folsom Prison.
I think we're done here. No further questions, Your Honor.
Now, would plaintiff lawyer Laura Landon-Wish like to question the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Davis, are you homophobic?
I reckon.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Go.
Can I get a... Oh, yeah. Now, will both lawyers say their closing statements?
Yes, Your Honor. What Miss Davis did was an act of selfishness. She took it into her own hands to deny my client her right to marry. This was uncalled for and unlawful. She should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. A person's personal belief should not hinder that of others. This country was based on the separation of church and state. We should not blur that line with the ruling in favor of Kim Davis's bigotry.
Okay, to end the defendant's case of this trial, I'd just like for us to all consider Miss Davis's side one last time. I'd just like to remind you of our First Amendment of the Bill of Rights that clearly states our freedom of religion. Whether that religion supports same-sex or not, the people have the right to practice it. Although many believe Miss Davis is wrong, she was only doing what she considers to be the right thing in order for her to stay faithful to her God. Give Miss Davis the grace she aspires to receive from her God. I understand the controversy, but we ask for you to consider the verdict of not guilty. No further points.
Plot twist, I, the judge, Judge Bunning, I'm a homosexual. Actually, I'm dating William Lear.
I know I'm gay and all, but like, I don't know this court case at all. OBGYN-ophil? Obergenophil? Osmosis-ophil? Automatopoeia-ophil? Obituary? First is Hodges.
Today we gather around the court to come to a decision on Kim Davis's actions toward refusing to sign and distribute marriages licenses to homosexuals in Moorhead, Kentucky. You all may be seated. It looks like vomit.
Smile for the camera.
There's not going to be any caption. You're crying. Let's redo that. That wasn't funny.
You don't have this?
So guys, you excited?
Yeah.
Goody!
Scarlett's gonna be my friend.
Yeah. You know, I'm just bullying. We're all bullying here. Stop filming me. In the real.
No, go.
Do. I know. You see.
Random dancing!
Because you said 3, 2.
I thought that was part of your joke.
I get a pick 2. I now release the jury to deliberate. In the real court case of Miller versus Davis, Kim Davis was found guilty in contempt of court.